Well, look, we've got a sofa full tonight. Please welcome Steve Backshall, Mika, Claudia, Winkleman and Paula, Radcliffe.
Well, this is nice, isn't it, on a Friday? This is good. Paula, so you're there, you're covering the marathon with Jeanette, who we saw. And, you know, we heard all those fantastic stories. Running, I couldn't run it at all, let alone in a costume. I couldn't. But this is what it's all about, isn't it? People pushing themselves to raise money for these incredible causes.
It is. I mean, the London Marathon has grown and grown and grown in so many ways. The first one, I think there were less than 5% women, and now we're almost at parity for women. And it's the single biggest fundraising event in the world, and it already holds the Guinness World Record for that, and they're hoping to break that again on Sunday.
Fab. That's brilliant,
That is
isn't it?
absolutely brilliant, yeah.
Would you run, Claude?
I mean, I would love to. That's such a brilliant statistic. I would love to raise money, but nobody would want me to run because I would finish like, I don't know, at Christmas. I'm not very good. But I like the idea of a costume.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I would sponsor you to do that.
Yeah. OK, fine.
I would.
Me too. I were otter, I think.
Oh, I love an otter.
Yeah.
And they go to sleep holding hands, so you could have you and maybe your husband, 2 otters.
Yeah, divine.
Lovely.
That is a weird, that is a very strange image. Yeah.
You need a costume that you can hide snacks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in the tummy.
Well, look, I mean, Paula, the people that they've done their training, they're getting ready for Sunday. I mean, what advice or what words of encouragement do you have for the runners?
Just be excited now. I mean, it is an amazing experience, and I don't think anybody has ever finished it. And so they might finish it and say, I'm not doing another one, but they won't say they didn't enjoy it, because it is just phenomenal from start to finish. And it's the camaraderie of it and the magic of it, and people encourage each other the whole way along. And I don't think there's anything else like it. I mean, we're hoping over 50,000 finishes. And essentially, you've run the same course, the same people around you. Everybody's had ups and downs in the race, and the crowd is amazing the whole way along.
I love it. Everyone is always running with a smile at the marathon. And if the marathon is too much for someone, like you know, which it is for myself included there, I can't imagine myself running it. How can we get out there? How can we start our journey, would you say?
Well, I think it's really easy just to take it in small steps, and something like the Couch to 5K that we have on the BBC website, and I think you've got Steve Cram on there being very bossy, telling you what to do. But it's a really, really good way to build up gradually. And then you have some people that are perfectly happy just staying at the 5K, and other people will watch the marathon and think, you know what, I might like to challenge myself and do that. And that's what's great about running, is it's for everybody, whether you keep it at a mile or whether you go up to 26 miles and further.
Totally.
Yeah. Right, OK, we've got messages. I'm on today's script, though, so you carry on.
No, I'll carry on. Right, yeah, we've had so many, so thank you so much. I want our runners who are at home cheering people on. I've got this one. George, Ethan and Poppy the dog want to say good luck to their mummy Laura, who's running for Pancreatic Cancer UK in memory of their nanny Pauline.
Brilliant.
Really lovely.
Alice, Tilly and all the Bennetts say good luck, Uncle Nick. You can do it. He's running for the children's charity Demelza.
Yeah, and finally this from Jenny says, my granddaughter Camilla is running, having lost her dad last May. I'm so incredibly proud of her. That is wonderful. And if you want to hear about more of the inspiring runners taking part on Sunday, then please do check out My Reason to Run tomorrow afternoon, 1:15 on BBC One and iPlayer. And Sunday's marathon coverage begins 8:30.
It's an early start. And you can download the NHS Couch to 5K app from all available platforms.
Yeah, right, from marathons to music now, because Claudia and Mika are back with a challenge of their own to give incredible pianists a chance to perform to the nation on their hit TV show, The Piano.
Yeah, before we chat about the new series, let's have a look.
We are back. Welcome to The Piano.
On a brand new quest to find incredible amateur pianists. And watching from the wings are 2 of the world's leading performers, picking who will play at a beautiful new venue in Manchester.
That's all, folks. Claudia, the first series was such a hit. Obviously, it had to come back. Why do you think that a show like this did so well?
Well, I remember sitting here with you and we were like, we're going to give it a go, and we'll just give it a go once, and thank you so much. And we were blown away by the response. I think the fact that it is a show about talent, but it is not a talent show. If that's not straight, like a weird thing to say, people just turned up. Do you remember Jared? He was a brilliant mechanic, and he was just in his lunch hour. He was like, "Yeah, I play this." I think it's the power of music. I mean, you would answer it better, but it touched people.
I think it's kind of an anti-talent show in the best possible way, and I think, well, you make music to say things that you can't say with words. And so when these people come and they play for us, and they're all amateur pianists, and they're doing it in the chaos of a big station, they're opening a door into their lives, they're telling their personal stories. So you have this incredible intimacy in such a chaotic, cold setting. So it's quite magic, you know, this little bit of magic that happens in the middle of the day.
And everybody will remember last year's winner, 13-year-old Lucy, who of course is blind, and then we saw her play at the coronation concert. Her life must have transformed from that point.
Not only did we see her at the coronation concert, but we saw Queen Camilla's reaction.
Yes,
She obviously had a stan moment, you know, a total fan-out moment for Lucy. That was astonishing to see. Yeah. I mean, when we sat here last year and we were talking about a show that no one had seen yet, and it was just an experiment. It was like a documentary. We could never have imagined that it would have changed Lucy's life to that extent. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously so much more than the music itself that you get to look into. I mean, Claudia, you get to see the emotional stories that go along with these people. This year, you've got quite a fair few, right?
We really do. And also, we've got people who just love to play. I can't get over people who have taught themselves. No. They're like, in lockdown. I mean, in lockdown, I organised the cutlery drawer. By the way, I did. I talked about it for 6 months. And I was like, I reckon they should probably be... Yeah, all right, never mind, another time. People play these beautiful pieces of music. Yeah. I was worried that they would come in, like, ball gowns, full makeup, going, Mika, lang, lang, I'm here. Yeah. But because they don't see you, and because we have the best crew, you also have an amazing crew, but we know that, honestly, the production crew is so brilliant, they're sort of invisible. People come and they forget that they're being watched. They forget that you're there, and they just go, I've got a story, I've got something to say about my wife or my sister, or I really like ABBA, or I decided to... Yeah. So, yeah, it's amazing. And my favourite thing is, you know, we always think of train stations as being quite harsh. People are on their way, they're arguing with a 3-year-old, they're grabbing a sandwich. Yeah. When you make people stop, and they do stop, my favourite thing is when people say, do you know what, I'll get a later train. And some of them are moved to tears. There's somebody in the first show, I think, when we were in Manchester, where people who were working in the shops came out of the shops and they were in tears. It was something.
But Lucy didn't win. That's the incredible thing. There's no winner. Yeah. But that's the crazy thing.
But in your mind,
but it changed her life in a real profound way, and it changed a few of the people's lives last year who also didn't win. And this year there will be no winner, but I'm convinced, we are convinced, that it's going to profoundly change the lives of a few of the people that have taken part.
I remember you, Claudia, saying there won't be a second series. Oh, here we are. Sorry. Because it's brilliant.
I'm so sorry.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. Play it low and hope for the best, and that's what it's been amazing.
So you're filming the final episode this weekend, the concert,
tomorrow.
And then you're selling tickets this time because it's going to such a brilliant cause, Mika.
We're selling tickets, and all of the money that we are getting from the sale of those tickets, that's sold out in a matter of minutes, are going to buying street pianos that we're going to be placing in stations all across the country, because there's still a big problem getting access to pianos. There are some cities, there's some stations where people sign up. There's a timetable on Facebook or on different forums where you can sign up and book your slot, because that's how many people want to play on them. So it changes the dynamic. Yeah. You know, last time no one knew what was going on. People who showed up just kind of out of curiosity, and they ended up at the Royal Festival Hall, and we had to explain everything to them. Now we have an audience that's waiting, and we're terrified.
It's different.
We look forward to watching the entire series, but people are very upset, Claudia, because you've stepped away from Radio 2.
They're not upset.
They
I
are.
could hear them cheering. I was
No,
like,
they're not cheering. But Ramesh is fantastic also.
I mean, the funniest man alive. We are lucky to have him. I cannot wait to listen to him. I'm going to listen to him when I'm in Manchester.
Well, he starts, doesn't he, 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes.
We wondered whether
Yes.
you might have a good luck message for him to
Of
camera
course.
4. He's
Okay.
watching.
So, Ramesh, you know you're the funniest man alive, full stop. And no offence to anybody, you are also hilarious. And I just wish you enormous luck. You don't need luck. We, the listeners, and Radio 2 are so lucky to have you. Enjoy it. And sorry about my chewing of all the pens.
Wow. That is a pretty good cosign. Yeah, that is very good. Ramesh is also running the marathon as well. so best of luck to that.
he's doing it all.
Yeah, he's trying to get all the applause.
Yeah, he's doing it all this weekend.
But look, the piano returns next Sunday, the 28th of April at 9 o'clock on Channel 4.
Now, someone who has been inspiring and educating younger viewers on the BBC with his Deadly 60 series is Steve. Yeah, Steve. And he's back with a new series, a new episode of Our Changing Planet. Before we chat, let's have a look.
Clownfish have an amazing attitude. They will protect their anemone home with their life if needs be. And the sounds they make while they're doing it are just extraordinary. Did you hear that? Did you hear that as it came towards me? Unbelievable! It just did it right then. How's about that? I have never heard that before. But in all likelihood, that's probably just because I haven't been listening properly. That is the first time I've been given a telling off by a fish.
Steve, when we watched that clip, both Al and I were like, how are they doing?
Yeah.
How are the clownfish actually making that noise?
So this is all so new that there are some ways that we don't completely understand yet, but some of them are twanging their swim bladder, which is an organ in the body that regulates buoyancy. So they're using it almost like a drum. They can clack their jaws. Some fish will even talk through their bottoms. By letting rip, essentially. And they have not just songs, but speech. They have contact calls, they have alarm calls, they have ways of driving you away using sound. And we're only just now starting to scratch the surface of understanding it.
See?
It is fascinating. Look, before we get into the episode, I mean, timely as well, Earth Day on Monday, this episode is part of a bigger series, right?
Yeah, that's right. So Our Changing Planet is going to run for 7 years, and it's about following conservation projects throughout that time to see how things change.
Right.
I think that, you know, in the past, we've far too often just rocked up at something and taken a snapshot of a moment in time. But the most important thing in conservation is seeing change over time.
Yeah.
So going back to the same things over and over again, seeing how they get better, seeing how they get worse. And, of course, the worst thing about it for me is I get to go back to the Maldives every year for 7 years, which is just horrific. Worst job ever.
The thing is, I mean, the Maldives, obviously. Maldives? Since they call them the Maldives. I mean, it's so beautiful, but what you see there is shocking because your episode, it focuses on the coral reefs and how they're changing, and that's quite depressing, actually, isn't it?
It is. Coral, for all its beauty, for all the diversity that completely relies on it, is right on a knife edge. So once it starts to get too warm, the waters that the corals are in start to warm more than 1.5 degrees for more than a month or so, they will bleach. So they'll reject the algae that lives within their tissues that allows them to generate energy. And this is what you see. So bleached corals that are essentially dead. Once you get to that stage, once corals are bleached, it is a long, long road back. And here in the Maldives, you know, there's still so much that is absolutely pristine, perfect coral reefs. And then alongside it, you can see this barren wasteland. And there's so much less life within the reefs that have bleached or been destroyed. But what we were learning was that there are ways of bringing both the coral back and then bringing back everything else that relies on it using coral condoms.
Wow.
No.
I'm not making it up. So
Is this like the IVF idea?
that's exactly what it is, yes. So the corals, this is the first time I've seen you go, what? So the corals reproduce through these mass spawning events where they will just fill the water with sperm and eggs. So you're effectively swimming in this kind of spermy soup. But if you can collect that and then take it into a pool and take care of it so that there aren't any predators feeding on it and it's not being subjected to environmental pressures, then you can massively increase its success rate and enable it to bring back a new thriving reef much more efficiently. And the sound plays into that as well. There's a whole way that you can use the sounds to attract the coral to come down to places that they wouldn't normally go to.
See?
And that is why we should go to the Maldives. Now, that's why I keep saying
Definitely.
it. Yeah.
And it's hopeful. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's really good.
We have had, you wouldn't believe it, Steve, tons of questions from future Steve Backshalls, loads of them, right? Now, this is Daniel. Daniel has got a snake with him. He's got a question for him. Here he is.
Is there a kind of snake you've always wanted to handle but haven't?
Oh, wow, loads. I mean, there's several thousand different kinds, and I wouldn't have met anything like half of them. Probably the number one would be something called the Jameson's mamba, which is an arboreal, very beautiful, highly venomous, but quite shy snake found in Africa. I would love to see one of those.
I love as well, what you might have seen there is Daniel actually made like top trump cards. If you go back and just if we can have a look
at the picture?
Daniel one more time, you can see in the corner there he's just made like top trump cards of his favourite on Deadly 60. Very nice.
That is brilliant.
And this is 8-year-old Maxim, who's a massive fan of Deadly 60.
How many animals have you seen on your mission on the Deadly 60?
Oh, it's got to be a big number, isn't it?
That's an impossible question. So if we were to go out for one single night walk in the tropical rainforest after a rain on an early evening, I would expect to see 30 or 40 different species. And we've been doing this since 2007. So I'm not sure how many it is, but it is tens of thousands.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, someone else who's been up close and personal with some wildlife recently, Claudia.
By the way, sorry, but I just want to say, you know this, my kids were obsessed by, and are obsessed by you and Deadly 60. And when I said I was coming on and seeing you, they were like, are you going to show him the photo? So I've had arachnophobia forever. Like, I can't have a tomato because there's the tomato top. And I went to London Zoo, and Dave and John did this. Look,
I am so proud of you. That is awesome.
He's a red-kneed Mexican tarantula. And actually, I'm so sorry. I called him a he. She's called Millie. And they went, would you like to meet Millie? And I was like, sure. And I was like, OK. But yeah, anyway, so thank you to them.
How wonderful.
I'm happy.
That is brilliant. We love Millie.
That's awesome.
Our Changing Planet, Restoring Our Reefs, is on this Sunday, 6 o'clock on BBC One and iPlayer. And happy birthday, Steve.
Oh, thank you very much.
For Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah. We've had so many messages. Not surprising, we've got great guests. Lindy has written in saying, I would like to wish my niece Natalie and her husband Freddie good luck on Sunday running the marathon.
So many of those. Good luck to everybody.
Thank you so much to all of our guests for joining us tonight. We've got more great guests next week, including Imelda Staunton, John Cleese and Lioness Captain Leah Williamson.
And on Monday, I'll be chatting to Professor Brian Cox and Martin Clunes. Have a lovely weekend. Good luck in the marathon. Bye.